Welcome to Actually Controller, the podcast that is actually Controller, and we are actually in control of everything you are hearing right now. I'm so very sorry.
I've been to so many. Here's the thing.
Aren't we spoiled? I've been to so many shows.
No, there was a moment
Free
where I was
tickets.
like, I've been single long enough that I was like, I'm going to go to this show and this show and this. I literally, when I was a huge Shinedown fan, I went to 5 shows in 30 days. I mean,
At least you never got to the point where you literally followed the
putting
tour.
in the effort.
5 shows in 30 days.
5.
Yeah,
But you
followed
literally
the
weren't
concert.
following
Indy,
the package
Detroit.
every stop.
Yeah, not
right?
every
What the
stop.
heck?
Every
dude?
other
You
stop.
call yourself a fan?
Yeah. It was Indy.
I think you need to take that tattoo off your
Detroit,
arm.
Cleveland. Yeah, I wish I could.
I was joking, dude.
You hit.
Sorry,
Apparently, I had a nerve.
Oh, man, that's why I won't tattoo any of the bands on me right now. I just feel like it's a jinx now.
I mean, that's fair.
Don't
I
ever
did it,
tattoo
and I did it,
us.
and they released Threat to Survival, and it was all down.
I mean, like realistically, it's kind of like you don't put faith in bands, humans, or butterfly wings. I think that's what the words are.
Is that what it is? So hold on.
Yeah.
Did Chris actually say his best show? His
No,
favorite
no,
show?
he hasn't
he's
gotten there
getting
yet.
to it.
I was like, wait a
So
minute.
I was saying that I've been to so many that's like there's a point where I go as a spectator. It's like, oh, I'm having a good time, and now I go and I'm like, okay, what is something I can
You're
adopt?
judgmental.
Yeah, no,
Yeah, no.
yeah, probably. I mean, you could see it that way.
No, you're judgmental. I've been to shows with
listen. The only reason why I stand on my I got the confidence to stand on my drums is because I saw the drummer from Otherwise do it.
Okay.
And the drummer I saw, he had to be like a 250, 260 pound dude, and if he can do it, I'm like, hell yeah! If he holds
Right.
his weight, I'm gonna do
fine.
it too.
I'm
And
safe.
I love doing that now, but I took that's part of the growth. I saw somebody do it. I'm learning, and that's what I do now when I go to shows. So like.
And highly recommend you come out to one of our shows because not only
favorite
does
show,
he do
if-
that, he does it with a strobe light.
He does.
Yeah,
He does.
yeah, fancy
and
now.
rubs
He
his
is
nipples.
Stop
He doesn't-
giving away my secrets.
He doesn't rub his nipples, but that's okay.
Shh.
I don't.
You just got to come out
Bob
and see
does.
it.
I do.
Yeah.
I
Bob
do
rubs
rub
my
my
nipples.
nipples. No, I get your nipples. Yeah.
No, he said yes.
He's
it's
like, I
fine.
Did you
That's
hear
right.
that
That's
gap? It was a.
It's man, just got caught.
Let's see. I've been to Rock on the Range. That was a good show. Rob Zombie Outdoors was
Dude,
was
Rob Zombie's
amazing.
amazing.
Great
just the
production.
Pyrotechnics alone. Oh my god. Sorry.
One of my favorite. I will say 2 because one of my favorites as a spectator, where I was like, I'm not a live performer. I
thought
wasn't
we
in
were
the live.
just going
Right.
for the favorite.
Hey, buddy, chill out.
I'm just,
Whoa.
So-
you see him reach
House
into
of
his
Blues.
lap?
House of Blues
What?
Chicago.
Don't worry, only the Patreons did.
Oh,
House,
yeah.
House of Blues Chicago 2010. I went to see
Only
it was
fans, here we
Shinedown,
come.
But it was the opening band was Rev Theory,
Okay.
Hailstorm, and Shinedown.
Okay.
And it was like, if you've never been to House of Blues in Chicago, it really is a really intimate venue.
It really is. It's
Unless
great.
you're like behind the sound booth, everything is right there. You can be in the balcony. Like it's great. High energy show. Everybody was bringing their A game. It was a lot of fun. It was in the middle of the winter. It was pretty packed. But the most recent favorite show that I probably have to put up there was Columbus. I went to see Shinedown in 2021. Very recent, but their production value is just simply like. Okay, I talk about how I'm not a fan of their new music.
Yeah.
The performance of that music just is amazing.
Stellar.
And the production they had for that show, not just lighting, but the stage, the rigs. They had like a 35-foot LED monolith, like huge. So when you have money to spend, I mean,
Yeah.
we'll get there. We'll get there.
Yeah, one of these days.
Yeah,
Someday.
So
Yeah.
And the more of you that subscribe to our Patreon,
I was about to say
Do you want
something
more
along
stuff?
the lines-
Come out, buy our merch.
I was going to say something along
If
the
you
lines,
if you
but I was
sub-
like-
if you send us tons of money, we will have like fire and dildos like Rammstein. There you go.
That's
the
amazing.
most memorable,
Yeah.
the most memorable moment, but it was a really good show. I met Hailstorm's parents. Their mom was there.
Dragging
Very cool.
dildos
So
for
she
all
was
the
literally
ladies.
walking through X-Fest in Dayton, like carrying a box of CDs, trying to sell them. So I stopped and talked to her. And then Shinedown headlined.
Yeah.
I went to like 40 Shinedown shows, so they're going to be in my. So they headlined.
so are they the worst one too?
No, I was. So again, it was 2010ish. So I'm dating the same chick, and
That's a fair question.
they're throwing guitar picks, and there's a guitar pick that landed in front of us, and the whole show was over, and the security guy picked it up, and I was like, hey, if you show him your boobs, he'll probably give it to you. Like, security's not going to give it to dude. I'm not going to get this guitar
Hold on.
pick,
I mean,
right?
Yeah.
Hold on,
Like,
no,
whip
no,
him
no.
out,
There's
bud.
a whole
Hold on.
bunch of chicks. Well, she got the guitar pick. Can I
Right,
finish the story?
exactly. Well, you're sorry.
So there's
He was trying to be
literally a bunch
punny
of
and it
people there,
failed
and the minute
miserably.
she flashed him, he's like, "Here you go, you've earned the guitar pick." Now we're this.
So you went
they've
on Mardi Gras
headlined-
beats now. Got
They've,
it.
they've headlined. She's got this guitar pick. She's feeling great. Sorry, Kendra.
Kendra.
You were fine
Kendra.
not dropping
She-
Hold on.
She ain't gonna watch this.
Kendra, I
ain't
have
gonna-
guitar
she ain't
picks
Let
for
me
gonna
you.
watch
finish my
this.
story because the actual punchline is as we're walking through the field to leave, because Shinedown headline, she's super happy and excited she got a guitar pick. I said, "Cool, now we match."
Oh God! Oh man, you are evil in so many ways, and I love you for it.
Wow,
but
bro.
Okay.
Wow,
you
bro.
name dropped and you had
She had never done anything that
Bold?
she had a great time. Yeah, no, and I was like, if you want this guitar pick, go ahead. And the security's like, "Oh yeah."
and
The
all you
minute
needed.
she did, boom! Like he didn't hesitate.
That's like a fatality. That's the best. That's the best
Oh,
finisher
man.
I've ever heard.
All right, so before Chris name drops anybody else down the sewer,
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead
Yeah,
and
why don't you go
continue.
ahead, Jeff?
So while I was hanging out with my friend Rick, no, I'm kidding. So my favorite.
This one
though-
time in band camp.
I mean, that's probably fair.
How many people went?
Only his was a tuba.
So my favorite show is actually a Perfect Circle in Peoria, Illinois, on St. Patty's Day when they played with Snake River Conspiracy, and I can't remember who. We got there late, so the opener we didn't actually get to see.
So this would have been Mayor Gnome's tour.
Yeah, it was Mayor Gnome's tour. It was
Very nice.
it was a really very great tour. But what made it great, don't get me wrong. I mean, that album is phenomenal. I honestly spun it for a year, pretty much.
Oh, I know. I was there
straight,
for most of it.
Yeah, you're welcome. Anyway,
Didn't say it was a bad album, but I was
No,
there
no.
for
he
most of
was
it.
there for most of it. Honestly, we were kind of nerds about it. It's like, is that 3/4? No, oh my gosh, that's 6/8. Oh my god. Anyway,
That's what happens when you work together at every job.
for years.
Years.
It was bad. But the coolest part of that show was actually after the show because people that I was with had left a coat at the chairs because they wanted to sit in chairs while the rest of us were down on the floor. So we had to go back up to try to get their coat. And while we were walking back up and through, we ran into Maynard and Paz Lancaster.
Jealous.
And,
Oh, darn.
And okay. I'm usually really good with when I meet people, I can speak and I don't yeah.
Yeah.
But legitimately, the first person I see is Paz, and I'm just kind of like, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
He wet himself, yeah.
Yeah, and she turns around and looks at me and she's like, "Oh, hi there." And I'm like, blah, blah,
Hi,
blah.
Bubba.
I didn't
He
say
went
anything.
Rocky Balboa.
It was real bad. And then the person that's standing next to her, unbeknownst to me, because I'm not really paying attention, I'm just like, it's Posling.
Hi.
And then Maynard turns around and looks at me directly in the face, and all I can say is, "You're Maynard."
Oh no.
And he's like,
Yep.
"Yes, I am." And he turns around and he walks away.
No.
And I'm just kind of sitting there, kind of like my mouth wide open, like
I mean, he spoke to you. He could have just been like,
he's like,
"No,
I got
Yes,
a worse
I am.
response from Sully Urna, so I mean, take it as a win.
So
Well, he's got
I'm
short man
standing-
syndrome, doesn't he?
I'm standing there though, still
without
with my
without
mouth
going down
open.
that rabbit hole."
So I'm standing there still with my mouth open. Maynard's walking away. Paz is just staring at me with my mouth open. I'm totally confused. I'm just completely a mannequin at that point. And she reaches over and kind of pokes me and she's like, "Hey, are you okay?"
Adrian.
Yeah, it was real bad. Just to
Oh,
say,
no.
I did end up finding my words again after a little bit, but I didn't get an option to talk to.
You're a musician, and I like you.
It was real bad. I had that moment. Yeah, so that. But a great show. It was my favorite
awesome.
show. Yeah.
He had a run
I
and
like
choose
how,
moment.
like really, like taking that back for a minute because the reason is his favorite show because he ran into the like. What?
I mean, no,
serious.
what was good about the
honestly,
show?
Here's the thing, though. Your favorite show is because you got to name. You got to you got to do the pick thing.
Nope.
No,
I
yes.
said my first one was Rob Zombie because he has a heck of a production.
Yeah, that is a
outside
good
my,
production.
I went three of them.
Yeah, but still,
The
one
fourth
that you,
story
the
was
one
the boom
you,
story.
the one you hung on.
So
She's hot.
the big reason that was my favorite show.
That was
The big reason
I'll get
why
in trouble.
that was my favorite show was everybody. I like. Okay, I've been to so many concerts, and a lot of the times when you roll out with friends, it's like you've got 2 or 3 friends that are actually not having a good time, and they're just stewing. They're not even in
that's
the concert with you.
That's
But
the worst.
What the heck?
but like legitimate. Yeah, Bob. Anyway,
Just if you
What
don't
about
know,
Bob?
I'm blamed for 90% of the stuff. The rest
well,
of it
if
goes
you
to
weren't
Steve.
if you weren't
Yes.
like guilty of 90%, you wouldn't be blamed. For
I'm guilty.
90%. I mean, it's really very easy math. Anyway, but yeah, that
You
was
say
one
easy
of those shows.
math?
Meth or math?
Okay, that's what
But
I was.
that was-
okay, I wasn't the only one that heard it.
That was
Jeff, sit down. It's okay.
That was the one show where everybody had a freaking blast and nobody came back whining about the show.
fair.
Proud
You
of
know.
sir, for saying freaking. Good job.
Yeah,
Way to
Yeah, I
thanks.
know, right? We try to watch our mouths
Every once in a while.
every now and again.
But yeah, man, you can't be mad about your 90% when it's like your 90%.
I take the blame. It's
okay,
fine.
there you go.
All right, Bob.
That's fine.
What's your favorite show?
Oh, it's on me.
Yeah, it's on you now.
It's kind of a tie. So both are at the Memorial Coliseum because that's just kind of the Fort Wayne thing. I
Say
got
again,
to
I'm
see
sorry?
what?
Say again, I'm sorry.
So both were at the Memorial Coliseum
Oh, okay.
because kind of the Fort Wayne thing. So probably the best environment just because it was hilarious how it turned out. Pantera, Soulfly, and Nothing Face.
Oh, hey.
It was
That
a
was a good show.
great show. And only because, and I'm going to drop some just names that
He's going
Steve
to
will
drop
know.
some knowledge.
Some knowledge.
Dropping.
I was actually in the
Don't
pit
drop-
during
Don't drop mic.
Soulfly with a gentleman by the name of Gorgeous Dan at the
Yep.
time, and there was
Actually, I think most of us know
yeah,
Dan.
yeah, most of
Yeah,
us know
probably.
Dan.
I
So
think you
him
played
and-
that charity show too, just not with Contrøller.
Manigans.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Manigans?
Yeah, the
Yeah.
Manigans.
That was our old
yeah,
high school.
Dan Manigan. So I know.
Is it Manigans
So
or
if you
Mangans? I thought it
happen
was
to
just
listen to
Mangans, yeah.
this, yeah, Dan Manigan. If you listen to this, you can attest to it. So him and I were both in the pit.
Yeah, because he's one of our old school high school buddies from way back.
But we were both in the pit, and
Hi, Dan.
so unfortunately,
Hey, Babs.
there were some gentlemen of the Non-Hair Association that decided that
Yep.
they wanted to start some
White and Non-Hair Association.
Yes, yes.
Well, the Shoelace Association.
yes.
And they're very angry
Yeah,
all
thank
the
you.
time.
All
Thank you
the
for
time.
taking it a different route.
Yeah,
That
it's
was
the
like-
like-
Shoelace
No, no, yeah.
Association. That's
But
what
so,
we used to call them.
So it was during Soulfly, and ironically during Back to the Primitive, one of the, and I don't care what anybody says, like one of the best songs by them.
Concur.
So we're in the pit, we're going, and you always take a buddy into the pit.
Yeah.
We all know the 3 rules. We'll go over those if people don't. But either way,
Pit etiquette.
pit etiquette's a thing.
Pit etiquette.
Yes.
I know that
So-
it's changed over the years.
So-
but
it
it's
has
still the same.
changed.
So as we're in the pit, Dan takes a like straight punch to the face, and
Yep.
and Dan, like a trooper, stands there, takes it, looks at this dude, then looks at me like, did this really just happen? Did I just get punched?
Yeah.
And then him and I mollywop 5 guys in the
Use
pit.
of words. Look
Yeah,
at
just
that guy.
mollywop.
Chris,
5
Wow,
guys.
Chris.
For all of those that are not subscribed to Patreon, right there was the moment you needed to see freaking Chris's
Hold up.
face.
Hold up. I was.
Have you
I was
never heard of
mid-swig,
Mollywop?
And you said Mollywop?
Yeah, Mollywop is...
Mollywop. It's beat down. Well, whatever
I'm
you want to call
Googling
it.
this.
He's
Go ahead.
Googling.
Mollywop
He's
is
gonna
good.
Google
But-
Carry on.
but
I'm
either
literally
way-
going
Google
to-
Mollywop.
Go ahead, Molly.
Let's go.
Go ahead.
Just
Google
past St. Patty
Mollywop.
Days. It's
Yeah.
all good.
It's Irish.
Yeah, keep-
Yeah.
Anyways, so but he just looked at me and we just beat the living.
It's a real.
It
Yes,
is.
it's a real
It
game.
is. Hey,
Chris feels utterly
Chris.
befuddled
To
right now.
Chris.
strike, slap, or slam into one, either once or to wallop one.
Repeatedly.
now, Chris,
Repeatedly.
Chris, ready? I'm a lyricist. racist.
Yeah, that's
All right,
Controller just
so-
got all educational.
Yes. Shh. Anyways, but yeah, I felt bad after the fact, days later. But
not that
It took a few
not at
days.
the time. But that was I just remember that really intently. So Dan, thank you personally for sharing that with me. Pantera was amazing, of course. The
I just want to thank you, Dan, for being Dan.
yeah for being
Thank you,
Dan.
Dan.
Now
Appreciate
just
you guys.
because it holds a special place in my heart. The other show that's kind of up there is Korn and Stained when they were at and
Was it the Feeling the Lighters night?
no well with mindless self-indulgence.
Oh, I remember
No.
that show.
Yeah.
Wait, was that the Mike and the Twisted cartoons thing?
Do you know who hit?
I have- I have-
hold on.
I actually have a story for
No,
that night when I was there.
But hold on. Do you know who hit the singer of mindless self-indulgence with a beer?
I know that he got hit with a lighter. He got hit with a bunch.
Why did you hit Johnny Urine with a beer?
Dude,
Because he's Johnny Urine.
I know. That's cool.
I'm going to tell you right now, and it's just my own personal
Who
opinion.
would have
does
funked this,
not-
by the way? This is such a weird hot take. Go, Bob.
go Bob.
It's just my personal opinion. Does not reflect on the rest of the band, so you can just go ahead and target me. I don't care.
Time out.
Johnny Urine.
I love how every time he has an opinion, he has to preface with that. We've noticed that. Okay,
It's good though.
Okay.
To be
well,
fair, actually,
to be
here's
fair,
Bob's
to be
opinion.
fair, I can unzip at any time.
Here's the thing. Here's Bob's take.
Hold on, let me get my magnifying
Yeah.
glass.
Bob take.
Oh, that's fair. Ask any of my exes. Translucent. So you have heard stories about it.
I'm just saying, if the light refracts.
Reflex. Okay.
I think we need more
Good to
drinks.
know. I'll stick to
Chris?
the lyrics. Gotcha.
Chris, how's that bottle doing there, buds?
But yes,
All right, his unadulterated opinion. That's
yes.
just Bob and
Aside
Bob alone.
from mindless self-indulgence, Korn was amazing that night, and so was Stained.
Yes.
And that musically, that was my favorite because it connected with me the most. But Pantera was by far the most fun show because there's more memories from it. So
Like a Mike Twisted cartoon show.
Yeah, that
Yes.
would have been the Follow the Leader tour. But
it was.
Oh.
Yeah.
so I have. I'm kind of split between two. One.
New Kids on the Block.
You know what?
We can't make fun
I
of him
can
for
predate
it. We can't.
all you lazy
this
bastards.
is a safe
Hey,
space.
no, except me here.
No, I
Safe
think
space.
you and I would have been
Do
almost
we
the
need
same
hugs
time
now?
frame.
It would have been about this.
We're probably about the same time frame we going to our first show. Y'all waited another whole damn decade.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
To be
All
fair,
bets are off.
To be fair,
To be fair.
Nirvana
To be fair.
wasn't on the radio when I went to my first concert.
fair enough. So the I'm kind of torn between two shows. One,
I'm that old.
I don't really like, for the most part, most of the bands anymore. I don't listen to them actively, but the show experience
judgmental.
itself was memorable and non-memorable. And the reason it was non-memorable is I left with a concussion.
Yeah, that tends to.
Wow.
That's kind of the symptom of a concussion.
Yeah. So
I don't remember.
it was the
Amnesia.
it was Stained, Cold, Systematic,
Oh,
and there's another band, and I cannot remember off the top of my
it's
head.
probably due to the
That was
concussion.
the-
Oh, Godsmack. Godsmack.
Godsmack. Oh.
Dude,
That was at the Coliseum.
First
That's
was
a
that
good
was
lineup.
that off their first album?
That was Stain's.
I think I was there.
Yeah, that was Stain's
I
Dysfunction
love
album.
Okay, yeah.
seeing
That
all
was
these
Cold
connections going
13
on.
Where 13 Ways to Bleed on
Yeah,
Stage.
13. Oh,
Yes.
And Godsmack's first album.
Yeah. I
That
think I was
was
there.
that
That would've
package.
been-
I think there was a. Was it the? No.
Actually
There was a
would've
girl
been
that crowd surfed on. They started pulling.
Yeah, that's why I ended up with a concussion.
They started. So I'm up. I'm up top.
So wait. For everybody who is unaware of the Coliseum for winter shows, the
Oh.
Comets hockey
any
team.
shows, yeah.
Well, the Comets
Yeah.
hockey team plays obviously during the winter. So any shows during the winter month, they don't want to actually thaw all the ice out.
Yeah.
No, they just
They
put
just
board
cover
on
it with boards. Well, this particular show, everybody started to just pull the plywood sheets
Yeah,
up
there's like so
and start crowd surfing
yes,
those.
Yeah.
and at one point, if I'm thinking of the same show, this
Probably.
chick was in the middle of the whole thing,
Yeah.
topless and just having a no
Riding a board?
She was never sent forward. She like all it was like bro code. Like this chick's hot. Let's keep her.
Let's
right
keep
here.
her right
Yeah.
here.
So the whole show in the middle of this arena, this half naked chick was just like,
Right. Well, that's
enjoying
probably-
the show on a board.
That's probably the same show. However, there was a lot that, unlike that board, did travel
Yeah,
forward.
no, there was-
I was there with my buddy Hoodoo, who had just a few weeks prior gotten into a really bad fight at school, had to get reconstructive surgery done to his nose. So he's in a full cast, and his dad looks at me before we leave, and he goes, I will let him go, but you are responsible for making sure that nothing happens to him because you guys are on the floor. So I'm just already, like, extra high, like, alert.
It's like you can't get
And
hurt, or
all
your
of a
dad
sudden-
won't let you hang out with me.
Yeah, and all of a sudden, all of these boards start going
There's
across.
between 6 and 12.
And there was usually never less than 3, if not 4 people, usually somewhere around 7 to 8 people on every single one of these boards. And not once, not twice, not 3, but 4 separate occasions, all of a sudden I find myself mid-board, not realizing the board is over me yet, and then all of a sudden everybody lets go because the board got too heavy. 4 different occasions, I had multiple people and boards collapse on me. And each time, my buddy was standing next to me, and I saw it as it started to come down, and I was shoulder checking him out of the way, and I was taking full brunt of multiple people in a plywood board
That explains
right
a
to
lot.
the head.
All that head trauma explains a lot.
Oh, really does. So,
You know, I wasn't gonna say anything.
you know
I
what?
feel
There's
like,
a reason my riffs sound the way they do.
Oh, yeah.
again, I wasn't gonna say anything.
Do-do-do.
I'm literally
Self-reflection
giving
is
you,
the key.
I'm literally giving you everything that my brain still has capacity for at this point.
I think
But
that's fair.
that
That is
show
really fair.
was way up there just because that type of an experience is one of those, as much pain and as much long-term possible damage as it may have done, it's one of those still once-in-a-lifetime type moments where
Absolutely.
you're going to walk away from that show going, holy crap, do you remember what happened that way?
Yeah.
Like 15, 20 years later with your buddies.
Exactly.
The other show, Chris remembers this show, but he doesn't remember it in a fond way like me and Bob remember this show.
No.
This show happened out at a place called Hilger's that's no longer around.
Oh, Loca Bazooka.
Loco
so-
Bazooka.
Oh,
and
God,
Chris
I'm
so
so
happened to
excited
have
show.
a job
I'm like, shut up.
at a place that was just outside from this place.
Oh no.
He wasn't able to go to the show, but he did have
gotta-
to deal with all of the people from this show.
No, I gotta set you up on this one. Okay, so it's a Friday.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I
Yep.
know it's a Friday.
Friday,
because
Saturday, Sunday.
I'm working in this tiny town of like 5,000 people. I don't even know.
Something like
Real
that.
tiny
It
town.
feels
wasn't,
like that.
wasn't even 5,000.
I was working for one of the major fast
Quick
food
service restaurants.
Yeah, that's very happy.
Quick
to know that.
service.
It was
is
the week
known as
of
quick
the
service.
town's summer fair. It was also the day of the parade. So notoriously, that Friday is literally not talking about a concert. That Friday is already the busiest day of the year for this store.
Keep in
And
mind, this
then-
show also is not technically in either of the shows
so
or
many-
either one of the cities.
I have a
We're
question.
talking like
I have
what?
a question.
Nonpoint, Seven Dust, like
Yes.
all the hot
Oh, yeah.
bands
Steve,
back in like '99.
do you have
Oh my
tissue?
goodness.
I have tissue upstairs.
Okay.
Yeah. Go
Do you
ahead.
want to hand him a tissue?
I do.
Yeah, I know. So
I've been there.
I'm gonna go
So-
hand me another beer.
yeah,
It was a,
The look
it was
I
a-
just got from Chris. I am so sorry.
Do you know what it takes to sell $13,000 worth of like
Product?
fast food?
Yeah.
In the '90s.
Yeah.
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 So
That was a 17-hour day for me.
So, yeah,
because
to give
while
everybody,
you're at the show, I'm working my arse off.
That
Yeah.
was a great show.
Then I had
it wasn't a phenomenal show.
to uck you guys.
F to the uck you all. So
See you next Tuesday,
Yeah.
mofo. And then I had to go be in the parade because I couldn't go to the show.
yeah, I know. So I didn't know about obviously all of this way back then because I didn't know Chris at this point in time. But
That's fair.
Man.
I did eat at that
brought that up on
service industry
yeah, so
that day.
yeah, so Bob and I happen to be at this show. And this is like the pinnacle of all these
Thank
bands.
you for
This is
your
like,
service.
You ate at the Arches?
I did. Thank you
We
for
were
your
the-
service.
We were the best one there.
So keep in mind, no, I just ate at Hilger's itself because, well, that was when he still had the grocery store and the restaurant.
But
so,
there was a reason I ate a lot that day.
yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
But we were at the show. This was, keep in mind, at this point in time, this was like the pinnacle of all the alt metal, new metal type
Oh,
stuff.
yeah.
Like I said, 9.7.
Yeah,
Who else
Seven
was there?
Dust would have
Seven
been.
Dust, Mushroom
Seven
Head
Dust
was there.
Just
Man.
had released Animosity at this point in time.
It's literally like
Filter was there too.
Filter
I
was
don't
there.
want to
Filter was
say
there.
Woodstock, but it was supposed to be like, it was like a
Our
one-off
station was trying to do their own
random
thing with, yeah.
festival in the middle of a cornfield.
That was
There
the
was
weekend I met
probably
Lejean from
about
Seven Dust
That,
for the
I
first
think there
time.
was somewhere in the neighborhood of about 20 bands total
Wasn't
on the
power
show.
an issue out there too?
Yes, power was an issue, but
yeah.
that didn't end up stopping the show. The whole thing ended up going on. But the reason I put this as kind of the number 2 show was, so Bob and I are out there, and I had just gotten my nipples pierced at this point in time.
Oh yeah, I remember this.
I'm going hard in the pit at this show. And all of a sudden, for no reason, because I got my shirt off because it's August. It's
Oh no,
hot as hell.
no, it's June. It's
June.
late June. Remember, I know
Yeah.
it's fair. It's like June 26th. Like I don't
Sure.
ask me.
Yeah.
but it's one of the hottest summers we've had.
Yeah, it
a
was
because I
boiling.
remember I had like a 17-year-old kid wearing the hamburger. Whatever, wearing the hamburger costume. So he's got this helmet of a mask on, and he's dying
Oh, yeah.
because there's no, back
Ventilation?
in the 90s, those costumes didn't have like
No.
those little fans to keep you cool.
Those didn't have breathing holes,
Yeah,
let alone
pretty
fans.
much.
So all I remember is it was boiling hot. So I got no shirt going. I'm in the pit, and I'm just going at it. And this guy decides out of nowhere, you know what? I see that guy has a nipple ring. He doesn't try to like just mosh with me. He literally comes lunging at me, hand out, trying to grab the hoop.
So
What
Bob,
the
No, it wasn't me.
So
It was not me.
I got Bob actually on the outside of the ring of the pit and everything, and I run up to him afterwards because guy tried going at it. I ended up ducking. He got out of the way, and I run up to him and I tell Bob, I'm like, so that a-hole just tried to rip my damn nipple ring out. And he's like, are you kidding me? And this is when Seven Dust is on. Face to Face is on. And I don't know if you remember the song vividly enough, but it's right when Morgan goes for his scream break right there. And I go full rhino charge
Nice.
at the guy.
Yeah.
And I just shoulder to his face.
God, I remember. No, hold on. Just to give perspective and to brag on Steve a bit. So he went. It wasn't just straight shoulder to his face. Steve actually went kind of down and up and lifted this dude off the ground like at least 6 inches, and this dude just
Launches.
I'm just thinking of Steve being shirtless.
Hey, you saw me on
Sweaty.
tour, bud.
Sweaty Steve.
Sweaty.
But
I'll pray
But
for
yeah,
you all.
that show, just
keep it
because
PG.
that one was amazing. But yeah, that one was. Those are probably my 2 favorites.
There you go. Chad, show that up.
Check. Okay. I
Steve
actually
just wanted to twist the
out of-
knife. That's why you brought it up.
Out of my
Yeah.
favorites, I don't have
Asshole.
any like real extravagant stories. Like one of my favorites that I
Real
went
quick side note: I hope we all gave you enough time to find your favorite show.
well, finding my favorite wasn't so much of an issue. Like one of my favorites was Lollapalooza in '97.
Nice.
I got to see Tool, and I got to see Snoop Dogg in the same day.
What?
Wow.
Yeah.
Jealous. I'd
So
love
that
to
was-
see
it
Snoop
was like-
Dogg.
We talked on another podcast about having like mixed
yeah.
genre.
Yeah,
Okay,
this was
hold
a
on.
mixed
Making it
genre because
work,
like
yeah.
most of the day was reggae. Like Bob Marley's kids were performing certain points during the day. Snoop Dogg comes out, does his performance, amazing. They had Tool come on. The Prodigy was after Tool.
The Prodigy.
Oh man.
Korn was supposed to be there, but one of the members was sick, so they didn't perform. But yeah, I got to see Tool and Snoop Dogg on the same show.
Oh, that would have been crazy.
It was amazing. And then another one of my favorites is I got to do a meet and greet with Mushroom Head, and I loved their performance afterwards. It was like one of the first Mushroom Heads that I got to see live. But being able to do the meet and greet was the amazing
Good
part.
dudes. I've never met him, so yeah.
Most of the members were really cool. Jeffrey Nothing was a little bit rough to talk to.
Hey, Jeff.
And this was the Wayland.
Jeff,
Yeah,
Jeff's
I'm
had
not going to talk
Yeah,
about it.
this
Jeff's has
this was the
experiences.
Wayland era of Mushroom
Ugh.
Head. To where
Yeah.
me and my friend who got
Actually, one
me
of my
in
preferred.
for the meet and greet,
Wait, that was
we end up sitting and talking to Waylon like the entire time of the meet and greet, and he's telling stories about his childhood bring up with his brother and the way they used to
Oh, really?
horse
Nice.
around and stuff. It was such
Yeah,
an amazing
I've done meet and
experience.
greets, so I've had like everything in between. I've met a certain person who was not very nice. Wouldn't even fist bump. Like, could care less that you were there. Was just signing papers because he was paid to.
Yeah.
And then like even Shinedown, like I learned how to be in the meet and greet and meet all four of them at the same time. So Zach's pretty cool dude. Like,
Yeah, the thing is with that Mushroom Head, I ended up with 7 out of 8 signatures
Yeah, I think that's what you told me.
because one of the members was ill, so he didn't participate in the meet and greet. He just made sure that he was on stage for the performance, and then he went back to the bus. So, like, my poster is missing 1 signature off of it during that time. I'm like,
I was going to say, it'd be
"Oh,
missing
so
technically a
close."
lot more now since
Yeah,
the,
yeah.
the band's kind of gone through some changes.
Right, but those two are like my top favorites. Granted, there's Korn concerts that I've been to that I've absolutely loved. The whole Spike and Mike Twisted Cartoons one that they did. It was the funny story with that one was my younger brother's friend and his sister was at the show. And they've got the big screen up on stage, and any woman that was flashing was getting put up on the big screen. So I'm
A
standing.
whole new take on the Jumbotron.
Yeah, I'm standing next to my younger brother's
Depending on the
friend,
size.
and we're just cheering every time the camera finds a set and like putting them up there. Next thing
Finds a set.
next thing I know, my
Finds a set we
brother's
wanna look
friend is like, he's cheering, he's like, "That's my sister!"
It's like, this is something I never wanted to see.
That was probably the
no.
funniest concert experience I ever
Oh,
had.
God, that's great.
Oh, that's fabulous.
all right, so for time, we do need to.
Well,
Yeah.
well, actually, just so we can still get into this last one,
Yeah.
make
We
sure
love to just talk
that you show up
and talk
to next week's episode to hear the hot take of what everybody's least favorite show was and why it was such a bad show. But yeah,
On
thanks
that
for-
note,
yep.
yeah.
Thanks for
So
checking us out.
Thanks for listening this time around, and we will catch you guys the next time.
Yeah, we love you
Love you
guys.
much.
Later.
I'm so sorry.
So sorry.
Thank you for listening to Actually Controller. If you liked what you heard, please consider following us on all our socials. You can easily find us on all the different platforms by going to linktree/controller33 or scan the QR code if you are watching the video version of this episode. Thank you.